Onchain made a lot of people race on this super chain. Craze back outside and it's right here. It's that super bass. I just woke up and I'm like, what I'm finna do today? Measurements, major flips, makes sense. Okay, let's go. Going up, I'm going long. I told the squad, meet at the base. Punt the bags, I punt the stock. It must be hard to keep the pace. 7 figures out the songs, that was the outcome of my pain. We're bringing $1 billion on chain.
Some people gon' leave whenever there's tough times, but shout out to the real ones that stuck by. Dark days make you appreciate when that sun shine. Reason I trust mine. Look, I got some moves to make. I gotta get it right now, I refuse to wait. Really don't do the fakes. I gotta keep my ground slow just to view the snakes. If only you knew the stakes. Taking these risks to pursue was great. I got some moving bass. Now I'm on chain and I'm using bass. Using bass. Now I'm on chain and I'm using bass. I've been outside, I'ma choose my faith. Cooking the shit of a food on plates. And then when Rio be standing on business, there ain't no way we can lose this race. I had to manage the damage inflicted. Foot on the grass, we don't use the brakes. Nah. So many chains I've been able to mint. So many ways now I'm taking my pick. Bullet the best while I'm still in the market. Wallets on wallets, I'm staking a bit. Face like I'm Little B. Say what I say, now she feel to me. Make what I make, now they shielding me.
Big dog, big drums, big bass. When she look around, she see bass. Trying to play keep up, but it's way too late.
Onchain is the next online.
Onchain's. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Onchain Stories. I'm your host, Jesse Pollack, the creator of Bass, and I'm super excited to be here with Leighton, who's a longtime bass builder and who is leading the effort around the album. Welcome, Leighton.
Thank you. Good to be here again.
So I want to just start with a little bit of context setting. Can you just tell us what is the album, and how are you thinking this kind of pushes the boundaries of what's happening on chain right now with music?
Yeah, so the album is a reference to the album that's called Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, the Wu-Tang Clan's infamous album that was recorded in secret over about 6 years in the early 2000s and then finally released as a one-of-one copy in 2014. So you likely maybe have heard about this in headlines around the news. It's quite a popular thing that the news likes to write about because that's a very interesting history to it. I think the thing I would highlight that I think is really related to Onchain is the reason they made a one-of-one. So the creators of the album made this a one-of-one because they were frustrated that in a digital world with no ownership, everyone just pirated music and music had no value. No one paid for music anymore. And the idea of like collecting music and paying for music and owning music was gone. And so 10 years ago, I think they were very prescient to see those problems that a digital world without ownership created. And now with bringing this album on chain, we're sort of able to at least give a possible answer to this and say, maybe we can have ownership in a digital world.
I love that. And it's so true. You know, the online era brought so many great things. You know, it connected the world. It made it so anyone anywhere could kind of share information. But I feel like it also took away a lot of the kind of like connection that we have to the things that we collect and own. And it put us in a world where every piece of content that we put on the internet, we're kind of giving up. And we are, you know, putting into a platform that's owned by some big corporation where they monetize it with ads, and the creators actually get not that much of it. And I was looking at a recent stat that said that in the current kind of creator economy and music economy, the creators on platforms like Facebook and TikTok and Instagram earn less than 1% of the revenue that those platforms are generating. Less than 1%. The people who actually create value are earning less than 1%. And as you said, it feels like on-chain is this new next generation of the internet that has the opportunity to kind of turn this on its head. And for the first time, help us create a new internet that actually enables people to still own the things that they're putting on the internet, to benefit from it, to collect it, and to kind of kindle that connection with the creative outputs that we're all making every single day.
Totally. Yeah. And I think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Well, I was going to mention, yeah, I think you'll see that when you go to thealbum.com. You'll see that in the website it's very much, this isn't just like a transaction. This is like you're collecting something. You're going to be able to see like a 3D rendering of the original box that the album came in. There's all this sort of historical artifacts that you can interact with on the website. So it's very much bringing that full kind of collecting experience back to music that you don't get if you're just streaming a song on Spotify.
I love that. And take us back to the beginning of the story of the album as it came to you and to Pleasr. Like, how did y'all end up acquiring this album, and what was the motivation around kind of bringing it on chain with the experience that you're creating today?
Yeah, so I think we bought the album from the U.S. government. The U.S. government so the original buyer of the album was a person named Martin Shkreli, and he bought the album for $2 million. When he went to jail, he forfeited the album as a payment to the government to try to pay some of his debts down. And so we actually bought the album from the government for $4 million in 2021. And we were always interested in it because of what I said in the intro here. It really was a visionary art piece on what does it mean to own music, to value music in a digital world. Like, one thing the creators say that I really love is they say, museums have sculptures, they have paintings, but there's never been a piece of music in a museum. And actually, one thing that's pretty cool is, as you're watching this right now, the album is going on display at the Mona Museum in Tasmania, Australia, which is going to be the first time a recorded piece of music has ever been displayed at a top-tier world-class museum. So getting back to your question, the reason we wanted to collect it is because we definitely saw it as a very prescient piece. And we also thought that now that we do have these digital rails, there's a way to sort of try to answer the question the creators asked when they created it, which was, what does it look like to own music digitally? Does it have any value? And now we want to ask that question anew with the technology that we have.
I love that. And so, I know the original album kind of rules were that it could only be listened to after March 8th, 2103. So, almost 100 years into the future. But you guys have built the album.com, and you're building a whole experience around this. Can you talk us through what is the experience that folks can go participate in? How do the mechanics work? And how is this going to be something that hopefully some of us can enjoy in our lifetime?
Yeah, so you're right. The album creators stipulated that the album could not be heard by anyone other than the owner until 2103. But now we have this new technology, right? Which is that we have the ability to own things digitally. And so what we're doing is we're inviting the public to come, and anyone can become an owner of the world's most expensive piece of music ever made, Guinness Book of World Records certified, for $1. So for $1, you can become an owner and buy this album. You can buy a copy of the album. The trick is, at the moment, because of the stipulations and because we're working with the artists, the album itself, the music, is fully encrypted. So when you buy it, you will be able to hear, for the first time ever heard by anyone ever, you will be able to hear a sampler from the album that's created by the co-producer of the album, Civil Rings. So you'll be able to immediately hear that. But the remaining songs, as it stands today, are encrypted. And Pleasr is working with the original artists to pay them the royalties and other payments that need to be paid to them to make sure that we can progressively continue to release this music. So by buying the album today, you technically do own the album. It's just encrypted. You'll get access to the first music from the album that's ever been heard in a public way on the internet. And then you will also essentially be sort of subscribed as the music continues to unlock. And so each purchase of the album brings that release date forward. So when you go to the website, you'll see a big clock ticking down from 2103. And as people purchase the album, time will come off that clock. And when that clock hits zero, at that time, this music will be released.
I love it. And it's such an interesting illustration and powerful illustration of both collective ownership, where now anyone can own the most expensive album for $1 and participate in shared ownership of it, and kind of this ability to coordinate people on this new on-chain internet, where we can actually rally folks together to say, hey, if we work together, we can accomplish something. We can pay the artists. We can help them make more money than they otherwise would have from the traditional streaming platforms, or from, you know, music going on the internet and getting pirated,
Right.
or potentially even from CDs back in the day. And I think that connection of like, you can be an owner, and the way you own can help us create a new system that actually serves artists better, helps them get
Right.
paid, and helps you feel more connected, feel like you get to be a part of it. It's pretty profound.
Yeah. We're really excited about it. I mean, it's a piece of art. It's a piece of art. I mean, in terms of how this is all happening too, with you know, people pirating and people there's so much depth to this. It's actually amazing, and it's just this really like perfect storm of like all these beautiful different subjects that are going to be debated. And we see this as like our contribution to the debate, and we'll see what people say. If people value this and value music, they can be a part of it. And if they don't, then you're sort of just proving the Wu-Tang right, which was that the Wu-Tang's point was that no one will pay us for music, so we're not going to give you music. We're going to give it to one person who will pay us. That was what the Wu-Tang said in 2014. And now we, as Pleasr, have paid many millions of dollars to give people the opportunity to own this. But we still need to see, do people value music, and will people own it?
I love it. And it really does feel like we are entering this next stage of the conversation as a society, where it's like, okay, now we have this technology. We have this new technology that lets us directly reward the most creative people who are creating all the value on the internet. And can we use that technology to reward them? Can we use that technology to make it so that it's no longer that less than 1% of the value goes to the creatives and 99% goes to big businesses, but instead all the value goes to the creatives, or most of the value goes to the creatives? And I think that is going to be a question of both, you know, how does the technology enable it, and how does society engage with these questions, and how does society start to reimagine its kind of collective understanding of what it means to be creative and what it means to bring your creativity online and on chain.
Totally. Yeah, I agree. I think it couldn't be a better time conversation. So, and it'll be very fun to have this happening on the base blockchain. Hopefully we don't overfill the base blockchain tomorrow, but we are hoping that a lot of people want to help the album and make a statement about valuing music in a digital world.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. So talk a little about the future. So let's say, you know, people start to kind of like understand this technology, start to use it, musicians start to put their creativity on chain. How do you think that's going to change the dynamics in the music industry, ownership models, and what kind of future do you think it's going to create for the artists who are behind all of this?
Well, I can say from my sojourn in the music industry, it is so complicated. And you would think it's simple to release music and put it out there, but it is not simple at all. And so I could not be more excited for artists to be able to go direct to fans in the model that we're doing. I mean, to be clear, this is not a release from the Wu-Tang Clan, right? We bought this album from the government. And so this is not a direct artist to fan release. I don't want to say that it is or represent it that way, because we bought it from them. They are getting paid. Every time you buy one of these albums, they're getting paid. But this is a little bit nuanced. But what I hope this is a template that artists can use to say, oh, here's how we can go on chain, and here's how we can deliver our music directly to fans and cut out a lot of these intermediaries, like the listening platforms, but also the record labels and all the other crazy. There's so many crazy things in the music industry that I've learned about. So I hope that this is a template that other musicians can use.
Yep, and I feel like we're already seeing it at a small scale where there's, you know, a number of incredible artists who are starting to publish their music on chain. You know, it's too many to count, but it's still small in the grand scheme of things. And I think when I talk to those artists, you know, you talk to folks like Natasha, you talk to folks like Heno, what they say is that when we came on chain, our lives was changed. Like, it served us better. We got paid more. We had more connectivity to our fans. And I think the thing that we need to do now is we need to show the rest of the world that it's possible, and that it is actually better. And I'm confident that when we show people that, they will understand it in their own experience. And that will be the thing that pushes them over. That will be the thing that kind of converts them to hopefully building their creative futures on chain. So if you're watching in, go to thealbum.com. Own the most expensive album ever that's on display in a museum right now. participate in the process of bringing up that timeline so that we can listen to it sooner rather than later, hopefully before all of us are dead, and help us show the world that we value music and we value creativity and we believe in this incredible new platform, the Onchain platform, to bring about a better world that rewards the people who are actually bringing the creativity online. And so with that, thanks everyone for joining in. Have a great rest of your day. Go to thealbum.com and participate, and we'll see you around.
Thank you, Jesse.